On the final day of the 2024 Elevance Health Women's Fort Myers Tip-Off, it's a matchup between the reigning national champions, the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the only Big Ten team to ever win a national title, the Purdue Boilermakers. Happy to have you with us, Chloe Marana, the Old Big East standout. I'm Ryan Urquhart, and Chloe for Purdue trying to shock the college basketball world today against a very good South Carolina team. Simple question, how do they get it done?
Yeah, Purdue wants to have this upset playing against the number 4 team in the country. They're going to have to take care of the ball. South Carolina is going to force a ton of turnovers for them, but how do they bounce back every single possession? Well,
South Carolina bounced back in a big way against Iowa State, their largest margin of victory against a ranked opponent in program history.
Yeah, they were focused and locked in this game. They made Iowa State's defense off balance. They also pushed the ball. They had 21 points in transition, and they want a third of their points in transition to help limit bad shots.
Well, Purdue's going to get it done today. They need Destiny Lombard to play well.
Yeah, Destiny Lombard, a 5th year for Purdue Boilermakers. She averages 13 points coming into the tournament, but that last game she was solid for them. She found a way to get to the basket, and she knocked down outside shots.
Let's take a look at today's starting lineups, brought to you by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers. And Chloe, Purdue without Ella Collier in the starting lineup.
Yeah, we talked about Destiny Lombard, but I also want to point out Sophie Swanson, who started shooting the ball a little bit better in that last game. Coach said she's the most skilled basketball player on their team.
And for the South Carolina Gamecocks, here's their starting 5. What stands out to you about this group?
Te-Hina Pow is just such a phenomenal shooter, but you can see that she can do a little bit of everything for this South Carolina team.
And led the nation in three-point percentage last year, but Coach Dawn Staley told us she is more than a three-point shooter. She can score at all 3 levels. Now, take a look to both sidelines in South Carolina and Purdue. Katie Gerald's in her 4th season, 283 wins, the former All-American at Purdue. And wants to see this team continue to coalesce at this point in the season.
Yeah, she wants to put together this team and build this chemistry. Last game, they got to come back off of a loss, but what a great team to fight against and to prove that they can really play hard.
And of course, you know the name, Dawn Staley, 4-time Naismith National Coach of the Year. And certainly has always built this program, Chloe, on the defense of the Gamecocks brand.
Yeah, she loves the defense. She loves the work ethic of her team. She's also trying to put together her players for this early of the season.
Time now for Elevance Health's keys to the game. Elevance Health, your lifetime trusted health partner. Chloe, what do you got?
South Carolina has to dictate in the paint. They're so physical inside, and they got to make sure that they're locked in for these 40 minutes of the entire game. No laps on defense. Purdue has to fly around defensively, distract shooters, but also be tough in the paint and take care of that basketball.
Reagan Bass and Chloe Kitts in for the opening tip. Let's get it going. The first of a quadruple header in Fort Myers. Officials Tiffany Bird, Kyle Binkin, and Gerda Gatling. Here we go. Carolina wins the opening tip. And an immediate whistle. And a foul right out of the gate. Our shot clock didn't start. And now we've got more shot clock issues. Third time, hopefully, the charm there. They'll reset it to 25. One more try. And the shot clock's a moving. The movement by South Carolina. Movement to the outside, back for Pow. Hall crisscrossing the lane, left it off target. Hits the putback and 1.
That's what Chloe Kitts will do best for this team. She averages just over 8 rebounds per game. Here, she just sees the ball so well coming off the basket. She works hard for this rebound. What a great finish by her with some contact.
You can see the strength there. That's something Dawn Staley pointed to when we asked her about Chloe Kitts. How much physical strength she's had in the offseason and the habit she's maintained to keep it on.
And she puts a lot of work in right now to maintain that strength and keep the weight she's gained. She's much stronger than she was last season.
Yeah, lifts every game day, works with these team nutritionists to build those habits. and takes advantage of a three-point play opportunity. Carolina's up 3 early, first possession for Purdue. And Rashunda Jones turns it over immediately.
Here's a chance for Purdue to bounce back right now in this next possession. You play a team like South Carolina, you got to go into it with no fear. Of course, their first possession, they turn it over, but how do they respond in this defensive set?
How much of it for a team like Purdue is making sure you get through that first quarter as a foul be assigned? This is the first foul of the day.
Yeah, it's so important to get through that first quarter, but also just to come out and be like, we're Purdue, we play in the Big Ten, we know what this is about. No fear, handle the rock.
First foul for Lana McCarthy, the Big Ten freshman of the week. Puts that up, and South Carolina's rolling along 2. They're up 5.
Good set out of the baseline of the bounce. Get Te-Hina the ball. Phenomenal shooter, inside-outside game.
Rashunda Jones, one of the talented returners for Purdue. Swanson dumps it down deep for McCarthy. Nicely put off the glass.
Purdue also has that inside paint present with McCarthy. They do a little high-low action to get her the ball, and it's tough to score against a player with the size like Fagan.
Johnson kicks out left wing 3. That skims off for Bree Hall. Quickly up the floor. That long 3 from the right sideline doesn't fall for Sophie Swanson. Hoists up the first and fouled on the second chance opportunity.
How fast Sophie Swanson had to get back in transition after she had that 3-point shot. Here she just gets a great pass into McCarthy, a freshman. Scores strong down there, and if they can have those opportunities in the paint today, there's going to be some positive moments for Purdue.
13 foul for Purdue already. Jones, Bass, and McCarthy all collecting fouls. It will just be Gamecock basketball here. Don Staley's arguing that this should be a shooting foul. Instead, it'll just be a possession for the Gamecocks. Launches a 3. That's in and out. Fight for the rebounds. Purdue wanted a foul. They won't get it. Off the screen, Jones to the cup. Turned away by Chloe Kitts. Offensive board for Purdue, and they take advantage with Reagan Bass.
Exactly what Jones needs to do. She goes up, she gets blocked. You cannot worry about the block shot. Get the rebound, passes it to one of their best players in Bass.
Te-Hina Pow. No real estate on the baseline. Step back 3 for Pow. Attacks the heel. Kitts fights for the board. Back to Pow. Another 3 for the Gamecocks. Just a bit offline as well for Johnson. Another offensive board for South Carolina.
Rebounding, such a big thing for South Carolina. Purdue wants the over and back call, but they're just not pushing them back and making contact enough for that call to happen.
Dumps it down for Fagan. And the short J is just off the left side of the cup. And Purdue throws it away. Second time they've just thrown it away trying to move in transition. This is a very battle-tested Purdue team. You look at what they have on their schedule. They are the only team to face 4 opponents ranked in the preseason top 6, including the South Carolina girls.
Yeah, they're trying to really compete against the best to make them the best that they can be. And I think it's tough to come out and play those teams at the start of the season, but what great experience for them leading to the end in March.
Yeah, conference play too. You remember how tough the SEC can be as well for the South Carolina group. Of course, last year they went through it 16-0, but a very quality league. Muscling to the cup. How about it for Bree Hall?
Bree Hall so slippery right there. She just finds her small opening, gets a little Euro step in there.
Coach Staley had said she is focused and locked in at this time of the year. Just great movement.
Yeah, finds the middle drive and her opening to finish.
Caleb Purrier will check into the game for Purdue.
A couple and ones to start the game for South Carolina.
Hall can't connect there, so Purdue gets a break. Still only a 3-point deficit. Swanson turns the corner, kicks out Collier. Her 3 is money. Tie game at 7.
Great patience from Sophie Swanson. She comes off. She realizes that 2 come with her. gives a nice back pass to Collier, who knocks down that three. She did not start for them, but coming off the bench and giving them that momentum is huge.
Kitts goes into the corner. The response three. Rolls off the rim for Johnson. So a chance for Purdue to take the lead. Been a bit of a slow start for South Carolina. They're just one of their last 8 from the floor. Swanson, step back baseline. That's just a tad too long. Rebound, South Carolina. Great pass, pow, too long on the finish. The putback for Kitts. Added to the total, another and one opportunity for the Gamecocks.
She's just reading those offensive rebounds so well. This time she doesn't even have her feet come to the ground. And she goes right up with the ball, keeps it high. Doesn't give the defense a chance to get on that, to tip it.
What have you liked from South Carolina's rebounding effort?
Yeah, they're always going to have a rebounding effort for South Carolina. They have the size, they have the capability, but rebounding is all about heart and their toughness.
Ashlyn Watkins and Tessa Johnson will step into the game, as well as Malaysia Fulwiley, a sophomore from Columbia. Chloe Kitts will get a free throw here to add on to it. That's nothing but net. South Carolina back in front by 3, first of 2 in the Island Division. And a quadruple header on this final day of the Elements Health Women's Fort Myers Tipoff. Swanson, boogies into the pink, goes outside. Lombard knocks it down. A confident 3 from Destiny Lombard. We're all level at 10.
Sophie Swanson is making so many things happen for Purdue. She's driving, getting 2 feet in the paint. She's not scared to attack. That was a great pass by her.
Back for Kitts. Tries to dish it down deep, bobbled by Watkins, skips into the corner. Rolls around and off for Wiley. That's Purdue's ball. A chance now for the Boilermakers to take the lead. How have you liked the response from Purdue? South Carolina gets some early and 1 opportunities, bit of a dominant start for the first couple of minutes, but they've pushed back and now they're all equal.
It's exactly what you need to do when you play a top team like South Carolina. You can't harp on the things that aren't going well. You got to focus on the things that you can do better.
Purdue has hit a couple of critical threes. 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. That's disrupted. Off the screen, Collier lunges. That skips off. Rebound Purdue, and they get the foul. They get Elena Harper for it. Offensive foul. It's a 10-10 game here at Fort Myers. 10-10 game midway through the first between 2 very historic programs, and Purdue and South Carolina. Of course, we all remember last year South Carolina winning the national championship. They have been a consistent face in the Final Four under Dawn Staley, but Purdue with a lot of history in their own right. They're the only Big Ten team to ever win the national championship, and Kelly Camara, an assistant for Purdue, was on that 1999 team, and something they talk a lot about is their ties to the state of Indiana and how they felt like in that 99 team. 9 of their 12 players were from Indiana, and much like the makeup of this Purdue team, they've gone very local in their recruiting as Kitts hits the first of her free throws.
Katie Gerald said 7 girls on this roster from Indiana is just huge for them. They love basketball in Indiana, but back when she played and when Coach Camaro played, their Purdue team was the place to be in Indiana. They want to bring that back, bring the best players that they can to Purdue.
16 fouls already for Purdue, so those 2 free throws off the offensive foul from Harper out of the break. What a chance for Purdue to get right back to a tie or take the lead. Off the bounce for Lombard. Skips it just a little long and it springs off. For Wiley, back for Papa. South Carolina 2 for its last 11 field goals. Open look, and Edwards connects.
Nice pass. They're double teaming on Ashlyn Watkins. Joyce Edwards cuts to the basket, find her. That's going to be open for them a lot in this game if Purdue continues to double team.
Coming off a double-double, Edwards is against Iowa State. 13 points and 11 rebounds. Looking for Purdue, and they turn it over. South Carolina's got the basketball.
Right here, there's two double-team people come to her, and Joyce Edwards just dives to the basket, doesn't have a defender on her in that instance.
What makes South Carolina so tough to defend?
They have so many pieces to them. They keep the defense off balance. They can shoot it. They can play in the inside. It's very tough to defend them, and especially in transition.
And tough to defend when you can hit jumpers like Ashlyn Watkins. And averaging 8 points a game in her last 3. Swanson makes the 3, passes off for Purdue. And Purdue lost the basketball. A turnover for the Boilermakers. Fulwiley up the floor for Edwards. Almost got the and one, but instead will go to the line for 2.
That's how fast South Carolina will push in transition. Immediately off the steal, Joyce Edwards is running as fast as she can down the lane. Catches that basketball. That's exactly how South Carolina wants to play. Now for Purdue's defense, they have to find a way to get back early.
Tipoff going to rest on the bench. As Maddie McDaniel checks into the game. First of 2, rolls out for Joyce Edwards. This South Carolina team, you don't want to let them get momentum. We saw against Iowa State 32 unanswered at 1 point. A scoring drought right now of 2.5 minutes for Purdue. How do they get going offensively?
The first possession of the game, they went into the post player, Lana McCarthy, who's now on the bench, but they still got post presence. And I feel like that was so easy for them that why don't we get back to a paint touch here?
Purdue needs points. 7-0 run for South Carolina over the last 96 seconds. Bobbled ball, almost another turnover. Maya Reynolds has got it. Into the corner for Swanson. With 5 left, Swanson's got to make a play. Step back, fades away, not even close. South Carolina with another stop defensively. Fulwiley to the rim, too easy.
Immediately down in transition for South Carolina.
9 unanswered for the Gamecocks, and Dawn Staley's group is cooking.
Just off a quick steal, Malaysia Fulwiley has a little hesitation. Great speed, great finish.
Katie Geralds will call a timeout here, a 30-second timeout. What's the message you're preaching to your group here?
They just got to settle in. They're turning over the ball. A lot of the times they're not making perfect passes right now. It's just bobbling, and that's the part of South Carolina's defense that you got to handle.
The South Carolina team that has done a lot of travel at this time of the year. They have been all over the country. This is the latest that they've taken. And they've also got Malaysia Fulwiley on the floor, the Colombian native. What does she bring to the floor? Coaches call her a generational talent.
Yeah, she is a generational talent. Coach said if this was gymnastics, her degree of difficulty would be very, very high. She can finish in all different ways, but what coach wants to see from her is just to stay solid. We want the easy finishes, not to limit her creativity, but we need a bucket like she just did. A little hesitation in finish is going to be the best for her.
The MVP of the SEC tournament a season ago was also on the all-freshman team. Talented top to bottom, this South Carolina roster. Depth and eyes in another run to the national title. Collier off the screen, free throw line, Jay is true.
They get one of their guards coming up in that pinch post area and setting that ball screen. It's tough for the post to switch on her. Ella Collier gets a nice pull-up jump shot.
Watkins driving in, bullying to the rim, doesn't go. Put back not there for Edwards, and that's a turnover for the Gamecocks.
Purdue defensively rebounding. It's so important, and at some point they got to realize that it's more important to not let them get the ball than for Purdue to get the ball.
McKenna Layden is in the game. It's a good get back for Purdue. She's been hampering a knee injury. Collier off the screen, wiggles to the rim. That's a bit short. Quick in transition. South Carolina will slow up. McDaniel. Fulwiley Too long off the glass. Offensive boards the story. Second chance doesn't go. Watkins gobbles it up. Kicks it out in front. Good ball movement. Johnson. Short as well. Bobbled around, and that one belongs to Purdue.
South Carolina never gives up on the rebound. It's the first chance, the second chance, the third effort that Purdue needs to give in to not let them get those boards.
And a bit of an up and down first quarter for South Carolina. What has Purdue done right in this first quarter?
I mean, they're sharing the basketball. I think every single time out of a timeout or a dead set, they have a great play to run that gets them an easy bucket. Now, when they come down in transition, I think they got to take care of the ball a little bit better.
And another offensive foul. This one is by Amaya Reynolds. Excuse me, Ella Collier commits the foul.
Ellie Collier just coming off there, and I don't know, it looked a little bit of both physicality is going to be a statement of the game, and they're both going hard at it.
Offensive foul is not helping Purdue. And races in and puts it home. South Carolina pulling away in the first. Was pretty even for the most part, but a late explosion by the Gamecocks. Turnover sure helped. It's Edwards. Tagging on two more. And in the flash, it is an 11-point lead for South Carolina.
South Carolina is going to apply such strong ball pressure. You can't dribble the ball out in front of them. You got to protect it with your body.
Collier's three doesn't go. Shot clock is off for the Gamecocks. It's bobbled. Picked back up by McDaniel. Flares it out to the corner. Johnson drives to the lane. Rolls out. And lands and sticks on the floor. Nobody will grab it. But South Carolina with a late run to take an 11-point lead into the second, outscoring Purdue 13-2 in the final 4:38 of the first. Gamecocks feeling good as we go to the second at Fort Myers. A couple weeks ago, South Carolina got to celebrate history in their home opener against Coppin State as they hung the banner for their third national title homecoming since 2017. One of those milestone moments for this program that has been a dominant force in women's basketball in recent years. And now it's time for our coach's profile, brought to you by Papa Tui Men's Care, available exclusively in Target stores nationwide. What Dawn Staley has done at the college level is borderline unparalleled.
Yeah, she's such a great coach. She's kept 10 McDonald's All-Americans on this team together. She likes to build this chemistry in a way that she can get role players, and then not everyone needs to score 30, but how can I be transparent enough to teach them their role?
And that was one of the values. You talk to folks around this program, they'll tell you that they kind of have the phrase uncommon. It refers to their culture and a lot of the habits they build, how consistently they've gotten players to the WNBA, and they keep a talented roster together year in and year out. In this era of college athletics, that is indeed uncommon.
Yeah, it is uncommon for them, and as you can see from that first to second quarter, they can sub 5 in, 5 out, and that next 5 is ready to run fast in transition.
Reynolds a nice bucket. And Purdue a good start to the second quarter. South Carolina pulling away late in the first. What changed for them?
Yeah, it's that second group that came in, could run so fast in transition, could finish buckets. They had a lot of takes in, in their offensive rebounding. They had 8 offensive rebounds and their 15 total rebounds, so they're ready to fight off that bench.
Great move by Fulwiley, and she's got the finish. Malaysia Fulwiley. My goodness, she is so slithery getting into the painted area. It was Amaya Reynolds who committed the foul.
Malaysia Fulwiley just so skilled, protects that basketball like a football. Nice soft touch off that glass.
She's got the ball securely, all wrapped up. Preseason all-second teamer in the SEC. Misses the free throw, and Purdue rips down the board. And South Carolina commits a foul. They're going to get Edwards. You watch this South Carolina team up close. As Chloe Kitzel check into the game, you get a sense for just how physical this group can be.
And they attack the ball so well. They're always looking to get their hands on the basketball, make it their possession.
the screen. Collier dishes back out wide. Bounce pass for Puryear. Through three, just barely springs off. And South Carolina pries it loose. Fulwiley. She'll do it herself. Pastes it off the glass.
So tough to guard when she changes her pace. She's so fast, but when she goes slow to fast, it keeps the defense off balance. It's hard to guard in transition.
Good cut for Lombard, blocked from behind by Johnson. And South Carolina coughed it up. They turn it over at midcourt. Purdue hit the gas. Collier takes the easy two.
Those are some of the moments for Malaysia Fulwiley where, you know, she's so great with the ball. She's got the ball on her string. And when she makes that fancy play in transition where it comes into a turnover, maybe she can get more of a solid play in that sense.
Purdue needs more sequences just like this, recovering off of the defensive play by South Carolina.
Yeah, quick sprint back in transition. Ella Collier, quick hands. She's been great in this mid-range game. That's her sweet spot right now, knocking it down.
Quick elbow J for her. I think right now Purdue in those kind of places, trying to find rhythm, right?
That will help them a ton, is just those simple shots in transition, not having defense set up by South Carolina.
Purdue trying to get itself sorted out with its 5 on the floor. Let's look at the break. A break for McKenna Layden. It's for Wiley on the free throw line, about 50% on her free throw. She hits that one. And the first of 2. South Carolina as a group so far this season shooting about 67%. That falls as well, so she gets both. And South Carolina's up 13. Well, Wiley will get a break, and Bree Hall is back into the game for South Carolina.
Great minutes for Malaysia Fulwiley. Did exactly what coach wanted her to do coming off that bench.
You put a big emphasis with Fulwiley on trying not to do too much. It's so easy when you're that talented to want to make the big dazzling plays, but sometimes you just got to stay fundamental with it. That's batted away. Watkins got her paw in there. Te-Hina pow floats it home.
Ooh, that was tough in transition. Euro step finish. I love that.
South Carolina's lead continues to balloon. It's now 15 in favor of the Gamecocks. Pow anticipated it. Nearly got a steal.
With this type of denial, this type of ball pressure, it's so important that Purdue has a chance to get their body into somebody and get open. Te-Hina pow does a beautiful move in transition.
Collier, nice pass in. Cutting across, Sophie Swanson goes high for the glass, but it's too far shallow. Great dish, and the finish for the Gamecocks. It's vacant.
Threading the needle for Raven Johnson. That was a wonderful pass. Again, another sprint down in transition.
Purdue will take a timeout thanks to a 6-0 run over the last 60 seconds for South Carolina. The Gamecocks are all smiles, up 33-16. Who says Thanksgiving's the only day you can feast? This is the first of 4 matchups today. Middle Tennessee and number 15 Iowa State. A matchup between 2 NCAA tournament teams from a season ago. And the third-place game between Davidson and Belmont. And Chloe, you're really excited about this one. An intriguing matchup between Michigan and Virginia Tech.
2 really hard-nosed programs that have talented coaches that have led their teams to a ton of success. It's going to be a great game going against each other today.
Stylistically, how do those 2 teams square up?
Their defense, and like Malaysia Fulwiley, they like to push in transition. They like to run a good offensive set. Malaysia Fulwiley just had some phenomenal minutes coming off the bench for South Carolina. She's been keeping it simple. She has such skill to her game, and her ability on the basketball court is impressive.
She had 8 in 20 minutes off the bench, and it's going back the other way. Against Iowa State, and so far 8 points already in this game for Fulwiley. In the minutes she's played on the floor for Dawn Staley. South Carolina has the basketball off the turnover. Bit of a bobble from Kitts. Won't get the three she wanted. Tipoff loads up. And that's short. Loose ball, race for it. Lombard got there first. Waits for help, kicks it back. Flares it out to the wing. Great movement. Bass rolls around and out.
Awesome ball movement by Purdue. They didn't keep the ball sticking in one position. That's going to work out for them if they continue to do it in that way.
Hall thought about it, into the corner. Johnson kicks for Fagan. No options. More great movement. Chloe Kitts 2-on-1, just muscling through, and she traveled.
That's the Purdue defense that they need this entire time. The running, the closing out, the guarding every single player, not letting too many options open for South Carolina. Just so tough down there right now. They double team Chloe Kitts. They go right for the basketball as a guard. Going low to that ball. It's a great effort by them.
Can they turn it into points on the offensive end? Swanson nearly lost it. 8 to shoot for Purdue. Calls for the screen. Jones turns the corner, goes back in front. Bass tries to kick, and Jones didn't get it off in time. Won't matter.
The ball pressure, they're just covered at every single moment. South Carolina forces them to go down in the last couple seconds of the shot clock, making it a tough finish for Purdue.
Purdue with 3 turnovers in the last 2.5 minutes. 10 overall, only 2 for South Carolina. It's tough to pull an upset and turn the ball over too much.
Especially because it's creating so many points for South Carolina. You got 15 points from Purdue turnovers right now.
Hall will take the 3. Springs off, and a foul on the attempted rebound from Fagan.
Nia Fagan just knew her guard was going to take that shot. Before she even left her fingertips, Fagan was running in there for the rebound. It's an effort you want to see from your post players.
You got Elena Harper for it, her second, team's third. South Carolina trying to extend their 6-0 run. Fagan, no room. Johnson for 3. You bet.
Something Raven Johnson has added to her game is that outside three-point presence. Her player left to double team the post, and she's wide open. She's got to hit those open shots.
Jones scales the baseline, and she got fouled. This is a smooth 3 from Raven Johnson.
Raven Johnson notices her player goes to double team. She's wide open on the top of the key. She's shooting that ball with confidence. It's awesome to see for South Carolina.
It's Johnson who commits the foul on the other end. Purdue will swap out Elena Harper for Kendall Puryear. Johnson will go rest on the bench as well.
Kendall Puryear just provides this physicality for Purdue that they need right now in this game. Love to see her post up and duck in hard. Tried to there, but a little bit tough of a pass.
It's a good layoff by Maddie McDaniel. Purdue comes up empty again. They're down 20, and South Carolina's got the basketball. How has South Carolina caused these turnovers for Purdue?
Their ball pressure is amazing. They have such quick hands. They're not letting them see the vision of the pass. It's so difficult for Purdue right now to even look to see who's open.
Maddie McDaniel for the rack for 2 more. Collier sworn. Lombard tried to pop it down the baseline, skims over the rim. And they get tangled up with it. This will belong to South Carolina.
Yeah, tough Puryear just coming off the bench. That's her physicality that she brings. She can come up with that. That'd be awesome.
Midway through the second, this is turned into South Carolina domination. Bree Hall off the spin move, can't connect. Second effort. Doesn't land either, but another foul by Purdue.
Megan went up and grabbed that with one hand. You heard it slap against her other hand. It was so loud. She brings such a powerful presence for this team.
Second foul by Rashunda Jones. And they put Sanaya Fagan on the free throw line, but she's 9 for 10 this year. Pau and Kitts will both get a rest. It's Pau McDaniel, Fagan, Kitts, and Hall, the 5 on the floor for South Carolina. Changed for instead Johnson and Watkins who check in. Watkins turns it into points. Everything falling the Gamecocks' way.
One of the hardest things for a team that can rebound so well for South Carolina is when you put them on the free throw line. It's so difficult to go one-on-one with the box out. They're taking such advantage of those opportunities.
13 unanswered, a 17-2 run for South Carolina. Purdue desperately needs a spark. Collier, left-handed, going the opposite way, doesn't fall. Into the corner, another three. That's just a bit offline. Poke free. Hall muscles it home.
Being able to pressure full court with your guards, with your post players. Athleticism is unmatched.
5 steals for South Carolina. A whole lot of turnovers. South Carolina has 22 points off of turnovers so far. That's a nice move to the bucket for Purdue.
Awesome move by Lombard. And she had a great game last game. We're looking for her to come out a little bit more. She hesitation off a ball screen, keeping them off balance now. Big deal.
South Carolina dominating the offensive glass.
Can't jump with South Carolina. Can't jump for that basketball. You have to put a body into them and really push them outside the paint. It's more easier said than done.
Despite the disruption, Ashlyn Watkins bullies it to the strings. And it's 44-18 South Carolina. Turnovers the storyline for Purdue. They have simply coughed it up way too often. And a foul as she rushes in. It's on Tessa Johnson. I mentioned it before, South Carolina has gone all over the country. They have not been shy about playing anybody, anywhere, anytime. Emphasis on the second word. They went to Las Vegas, a 3,800-mile trip, then Charlotte, Clemson, back to Los Angeles cross country, and then out back to Florida here in Fort Myers. They're racking up the mileage points, I'll tell you.
9,000 miles traveled, just such a short amount of time. Not only have to play, you're tired, you have to do schoolwork. It's a lot to handle for them. They got some experience in the coaching and some players on the court that help them out.
There you go. McDaniel boogies and scores.
McDaniel's just so smooth coming into that basket. Shows the ball a little bit. Nice finish with her left hand.
Fulwiley pokes it free. Hesitates. Turns it into the paint with a whistle before the shot. That foul on Rashunda Jones, her third.
Yeah, it's just a tough finish right here by McDaniels. God, she drives in there so easily, so smooth, so slippery.
Looking for the 6'5" redshirt freshman Adele Tack. We'll get a chance at free throw. And the first sprays off. We asked Dawn Staley about who's maybe an unsung hero in this group for South Carolina, and she pointed to a lot of her players deep on the bench who, maybe not always getting the most minutes, but always coming prepared, locked in, ready to go. That kind of attitude and culture is so key for a team like South Carolina.
They're always ready for their numbers to be called. They support their team so well, even on the bench. That's so important to be so connected that way, and then they're ready to go immediately when they come off the bench. Instant scoring, when you're talking about All-Americans on the bench.
South Carolina just continues to frustrate Purdue on the offensive end. Defense has been simply stellar. Collier, NCAA All-American inbounds. That's swiped away. Fulwiley gets turned away by Lombard. A big block from the 5'9" fifth year.
Great hustle back for Lombard. She gets high, reads that basketball. Is a good block. That's what she has to do, is immediately after a turnover, you can't worry about it. You got to get back in transition.
A little extra stare down to the end by Destiny Lombard. That's batted away as well. A couple nice plays for Purdue. Off the spin move, the floater doesn't fall. Sophie Swanson trying to do it herself. 60 seconds to go in the second. McDaniel, hop, skip, and a score. South Carolina won off with 50 here in the first half. Just continued dominance, a 20-2 run in the last 7 minutes and 30 seconds. After what was a little bit of an even start, South Carolina continues to just take over. Another turnover. Fulwiley 2-on-1, nearly got it. She elicits the foul. She'll go to the line for South Carolina. With Sophie Swanson's first foul. Fulwiley mentioned for about 50% on the free throw line to this point. And in his first half, it's now eclipsed her point total that she had against Iowa State. That's her 9th, a chance for double digits in the first half if this second drops for her. And the Columbia natives got 10. South Carolina has outscored Purdue 27-6 in the second. Collier surveying her options. Lombard launches her three. That dings off left iron. One more chance for South Carolina. Johnson through 4, offensive board, put back not there. Still popcorning around, Watkins with the finish. Third time's the charm for the Gamecocks, and they add on to a massive lopsided second quarter. And they'll take a 53-18 lead into the locker room. Just all kinds of dominance from these South Carolina Gamecocks. They shoot 44.7% from the field. Only needed 1 3 in that first half. And Chloe's got Dawn Staley down on the baseline.
Coach, awesome start for your team in that first half. What do you like about your defense?
I mean, I like that we are connected. I like that we're linked up. And even when we're out of position, our players are covering for each other. So it's pretty good, pretty impressive.
Mylasia Fulwiley, just awesome minutes off the bench. Her energy right now is picking up. What's her game like in transition that you love from her?
I mean, I love the fact that she's utilizing direct line drives to the basket. When she goes east and west, it allows the defense to get back in front. But when she's going direct line drive, there's nobody in the country that can stop her.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Coach. That'll take us to halftime. Don't go anywhere. We've got plenty coming up at the break as Dawn Staley's Gamecocks have a massive lead. They outscore Purdue 30-6 in the second quarter, and the Gamecocks are Holland, the reigning national champions, are up in a big way, 53-18 here in the Island Division. The Elements Health Women's Fort Myers Tipoff. Number 4 team in the land, South Carolina up 35 on Purdue at the Elements Health Women's Fort Myers tip-off over here in the Island Division. A first half that saw a lot of physicality from South Carolina's 15 second chance points on 17 offensive rebounds.
South Carolina has always been a team that could rebound in the past, and this team's carrying it over as well. They're tough off this glass. They don't keep the ball down low. They keep it high. They finish tough. A lot of and ones for South Carolina, and on the defensive end, they've been so incredibly active, leading to their transition buckets. Te-Hina Pow is so creative, but it happens from everybody on this court. Bree Hall, another great steal in the backcourt. It's so impressive how quickly they can get their hands on the basketball, and then how quickly they can get up the court for these easy transition buckets.
And there's been a lot of contributors for South Carolina, too. This has not been a one-player effort.
No, it's pretty balanced scoring across the board. Fulwiley leads with 10 points, but it's been a pretty impressive start.
Let's take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by healthcare.gov. New law, lower prices. Enroll today. And I think one of the big things that kind of flew under the radar, we've talked about the offensive boards and the points on turnovers. Purdue hasn't gotten to the free throw line.
Look at how physical South Carolina is. We talked about that, like you mentioned, with their rebounding, but getting to the free throw line just signifies how physical they are with getting their body into somebody and trying to finish.
How important has this kind of a weekend been for South Carolina? You go on the road, kind of get shocked a little bit by UCLA in a tough environment. You bounce back with a top 15 win over Iowa State, and a chance to finish this weekend on a really positive note.
Again, having this experience in November is so important for these teams. South Carolina needed a little bounce back. They were able to play the 15th team in the country. They have such a tough schedule this year, and Purdue is a good team. They're going to be good in the Big Ten. They have a lot of skilled talent, so to have this start to the first half for them is very impressive, and it's a good job for South Carolina in Thanksgiving tournament.
And you keep in mind, South Carolina has a 3-game stretch coming up that is going to be tough. They have Duke at home. That one draws a lot of eyeballs, but TCU, who's obviously in a very good mood right now with a big win, and then you add on a matchup against South Florida on their home court, who historically consistently in the NCAA tournament under Jose Fernandez.
Yeah, TCU just upset Notre Dame last night. A great game between them. Haley Van Lip, Sedona Prince leading TCU's way. South Carolina is going to have to work hard against them, but they're learning. They're getting that chemistry early on in this season.
Purdue first with the basketball out of the locker room. Down 35 to South Carolina. Very steep hill to climb. McCarthy's blocked immediately by Fagan.
That was the first play that Purdue came out with in the start of the game. They got it to Lana. She finished strong against Fagan. This time, Fagan steps up, gets a nice block off of Lana McCarthy.
South Carolina, 5 team blocks so far. Collier floats up and doesn't connect, gets her own board. Second chance off the miss, doesn't go. Tangled up, South Carolina's got it. Te-Hina pow up the floor. Lofts it in. Reels it down, kick to the corner, Hall. That drops. South Carolina extends their lead to 38.
The whole time, Te-Hina is scanning the floor. She's driving in transition. Who can I pass to? Who can I look to? Finds Chloe Kitts in the inside, and then outside game by Bree Hall. It's exactly what South Carolina wants.
Good times keep rolling for the Gamecocks. That's only their second 3 there. They haven't had to shoot it a ton. Lombard shuffles home and puts it off the window.
Destiny Lombard, somebody that is so skilled getting to the basket. She's slippery. She can find her inside game.
Zipped underneath for Sanaya Fagan.
Ryan, it just happens so fast. You see Purdue gets a bucket and it's an immediate drive down and fast break. Purdue almost can't have anyone crashing for the boards. They have to get back so fast.
How much harder is that on a team like Purdue who doesn't have quite the same depth South Carolina has?
It keeps them to one and done, and then sprinting down in transition all the time, constantly focused on that and locked in. It's a mental grind for them this year in this game.
Stripped free in the fast break points for Chloe Kitts. It just continues to pile on here. South Carolina up to 20 fast break points out of their total 60. Lombard, a nice fake, has to hoist up a shot, but got fouled. Looks like they're going to get Raven Johnson.
Didn't look like Fagan got anything on the up top, but obviously they called Raven Johnson maybe for something down low. Nice step through for Lombard.
Well, Destiny Lombard, the Stephen F. Austin transfer, will get a couple of shots. And 60-22. Hoists it up, and it doesn't fall. Hard contact, and it's a foul.
Just this shot by Raven Johnson and that energy to go after the boards for both Purdue and Fagan. It's a physical game.
South Carolina makes it physical. By the way, Purdue, those last couple of free throws, their first trip to the free throw line in this game, Destiny Lombard hits them both. This one has swayed way in favor of the Gamecocks, up 38 early in the third. Nice move by Lombard, but there's no finish for the Boilermakers. Bass gobbles it up. She's swarmed back from McCarthy. Destiny Lombard has had some really athletic plays for Purdue. Bass kicks out for Reynolds. She lost it. Barely lashes it on the sideline, just heaves it up. McCarthy was waiting beneath it. Put up a prayer, and McCarthy answered it.
Great awareness by Lana McCarthy to find that ball, go up with it before the shot clock ran out.
Shot clock was winding down. I think just sort of putting that one in the vicinity and hoping something good happens. The good that happened was wearing number 35. Johnson with some real estate, too strong off the glass. That'll be a held ball. Back of this on the other end. An absolute prayer when it got loose to the sideline.
Great save here by Reynolds just to chuck it up. She tried to go for a bucket, but ended up in the hands of McCarthy.
I think was maybe just trying to heave it Hail Mary-esque to the basket. Right place, right time. It'll still be South Carolina basketball. From the screen, open look, Papa. That springs off. Kitts back out to the wing. It's Hall. No connection. Another rebound for South Carolina on the offensive glass. Great movement. Kitts down deep, fading away for two.
Patience by Chloe Kitts right there. Just throw a little shot fake, get her feet set for a nice easy jumper in the inside.
Good times keep rolling for South Carolina. Just finding crafty ways to score. Under 10 for Purdue. Bass, shot fake. Sandy never left her feet. That's too strong for McCarthy. South Carolina gets the ball anyways. Chloe Kitts underhands it for Fagan. Took the extra pass for Raven Johnson, and they cough it up on the turnover. It'll be a complete change here for South Carolina. 5 in, 5 out. Fulwiley, Edwards, Johnson, Watkins, and McDaniel all come in for Dawn Staley's group. It's like a line change in hockey.
Yeah. When I had the chance to ask her about her bench, I said, who could be the biggest impact this year for you off the bench? And her response was, our bench. The entire bench can be the impact. And so true when you got 10 McDonald's All-Americans. Every single person can make a difference. It's probably one of the few teams in college basketball who can sub in, 5 out.
Just ludicrous talent for Coach Staley's group as they look to make another run at the national championship. Watkins hooks it in. For South Carolina, this is another hard foul. That'll be on Reynolds, her second. When you think about this South Carolina team, it's really easy to look at a game like this or a lot of their lopsided wins and, you know, get caught up in the glory of it all. But I think any coach will tell you want to improve and get better as the season goes along. What are the improvement areas for South Carolina?
Every team is trying to get better right now at this time of the year, no matter who they play, no matter what the score is. For South Carolina, it's about that steadiness, that ability to focus for 40 minutes, not have any lapses defensively or offensively for Coach Staley's team.
That's a foul. Lombard, by the way, up to 12 points off of the three. That foul will take us to the media timeout. 64-27. Gamecocks in cruise control at Fort Myers. and there's a lot of transfers on this Purdue roster. Still trying to learn the team. The teams are still trying to learn them. Destiny Lombard's was really good today, but if Purdue's going to be successful in the Big Ten, they need all the transfers to find their rhythm.
They need all the transfers to step up. They need the freshmen to step up. Coach Katie Gerald said, we're trying to break habits from transfers and build habits for freshmen, something they're going to work on the entire season.
Watkins zips it back for Fulwiley. Great spin move on the fadeaway.
Oh,
yes!
Oh, my goodness.
Malaysia Fulwiley, how do you do?
She is just so fun to watch.
Unreal athleticism. It is evident why coaches call her a generational talent.
She has a ball on the string like Kyrie Irving, someone that just never has to look down at the ball. She can always make moves regardless.
Johnson orchestrating things back to McDaniel. Johnson creates a little space from the charity stripe. She swishes it.
Haven't seen much of Tessa Johnson in this game. A phenomenal shooter for South Carolina. Another player that comes off the bench, ready to make an impact.
McCarthy backing in, twisting free. A nice move in her own right, and it drops.
Love that move by McCarthy. When you're playing against shot blockers, you got to keep them off balance. You got to throw shot fakes just like that.
Lombard nearly pried it loose. Fulwiley attacks the heel. More ball movement. This time it's Johnson. Just a tad long. Crashing the board, South Carolina gobbles it up. Edwards blocked from behind. Second chance, she's got it. South Carolina is just pesky beneath the bucket.
Second, third efforts for South Carolina on the rebounding battle here.
Bass has it swatted out of her fingertips. Today's instant replay is brought to you by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers, and Malaysia Fulwiley is a walking instant replay.
She is a walking instant replay. Some of the things she does are just so impressive. A second look here, just a spin back into a pull-up jump shot. You rarely see that move in women's college basketball and men's college basketball, heck, in the NBA.
A bit too much for Sophie Swanson. Just a really pretty bucket for Fulwiley. And you can see why there's so much excitement around her and the talent of the South Carolina roster. Fulwiley coasting to the cup, and that doesn't land for number 12. Somehow keeps it in play. Out to the wing, and that's down. This time Tessa Johnson connects from deep.
That's her three-point ability. We saw a lot of it in the tournament last year. The championship game as a freshman, now as a sophomore, learning a little bit more about the game. Her shot-making ability is so impressive.
Third three for South Carolina. Collier, long two. That's cash.
Collier has been able to lock in on those mid-range jump shots today. She's reading the defense, not going too far into the paint.
Fulwiley, another three. That rolls out. Edwards vacuums up the missed shot. South Carolina still clinging to it despite missing the second. She got fouled. It'll be the second by Purdue in the third.
Purdue just trying to figure out some way to get the ball out of the hands of Joyce Edwards as a freshman who has got the height, the strength, the talent.
That's the second for Swanson. 26 offensive rebounds, generating 22 second chance points. You asked Coach Staley about the rebounding and where they were at that phase of the game. And she said, look, if we take care of a lot of the other stuff, the rebounds are going to come. They have come in a big way today for South Carolina.
They've always been a rebounding team. Coach Staley always has historically great rebounding players, but she said in the last loss that she had, it wasn't necessarily the most important thing that they were working on. There was many other issues they had to take care of. They always have that rebounding mentality.
Daniel almost picked her pocket. Collier off the bounce. McCarthy baseline. Too strong. Jones trying to save it. It's going back to the Gamecocks. really feel like South Carolina is one of those teams that has a really strong chance to repeat again as they search for the 4th national title. Preseason favorites in the SEC. Could be a new look conference, obviously, this year with Texas and Oklahoma coming in. That's going to shake up things.
Texas is doing really well right now. They've played well for a couple of years, but they're older, they're more mature. They have the ability to make a good run against a South Carolina team as well.
In the full year's first foul. 6'3" freshman. Daniel will trigger it in for South Carolina. Another 3 for Johnson. Why not? Tessa Johnson's getting hot. And the Gamecocks are still up mightily. It keeps growing.
Once she hits one, it's over for the defense. She is a confident shooter. They run her through a elevator screen to get her open, and she knocks it down with confidence.
The lead has grown to 45 for South Carolina. That's a foul on Ashlyn Watkins. 40.3 left in the quarter. Destiny Lombard will check back in. Sure there's a break for McKenna Layden. South Carolina has scored 23 in the first, 30 in the second, 23 in the third. Just unbelievably dominant today. And that will stay with Purdue. South Carolina doesn't like it. For Jones. Quick trigger, Collier. Springs off. Up the floor, Johnson. Scoring at all levels for the Gamecocks.
Never taking their foot off the gas, doing what they do best, running in transition. All 5 players have that ability.
Now the 4th different Gamecock in double digits. McCarthy into the corner. Dump back down McCarthy. That's disrupted. Pulled away by South Carolina. Fulwiley from half court. She got it!
Meyers Fulwiley
punctuates the 3rd quarter with a buzzer beater from the midcourt stripe.
I knew that one was going in. Look at this right here. Going up and off the bank. Meyers Fulwiley with a beautiful finish.
Meyers Fulwiley puts this place into a frenzy as she hits a half-court buzzer beater, but they go to video review and they're going to wave it off. So a fun moment for Fulwiley, but the buzzer beater will be removed. She did not get it off in time. One more look at it, Chloe.
Gosh, that's so close. Fingertips just on the tip of that ball as the clock strikes 0.
Yeah, I think that fingertip is on it right as .1 hits .0, but it's still a fun moment for Fulwiley and what's been a great day. This place sounded like it was Columbia, South Carolina when it fell.
There's so many Columbia fans here. It just is such a great environment. They're so ready for this season, this new team. Meyers Fulwiley just makes it exciting for everyone.
Well, Purdue will inbound and start the 4th. The lead is brought down a little bit. They're still fixing the scoreboard. South Carolina currently has 179. They've had a good day, not that good of a day. So we got to get that sorted out. This has been very much in favor of South Carolina. Just a few extra points. So while our wonderful operations folks get that sorted out, back on that moment for South Carolina. I think that just sort of exemplifies the whole day. They got the scoreboard fixed. is they look to make some more history this season. Of course, they had the long win streak that ended at UCLA, but when they head into conference play, they've got some tough matchups. They'll open with Missouri, but they got a chance to extend it to the longest streak in SEC history, set by Tennessee at 46.
SEC is such a tough conference. It's so physical. It's so athletic. For them to hold that streak in SEC history is extremely impressive.
They will open with Missouri on the road in the other Columbia, then 2 Mississippi State home against Texas A&M to try and tie the streak. But then they got to play Texas to try and set the new record. So that adds potentially, if they win their first 3, even more intrigue to that first ever conference matchup with the Longhorns.
Team and Vic Schaefer, who likes to pressure in the backcourt, try to slow South Carolina down if they can at all.
Nice finish by Rashunda Jones. That eats into the lead a little bit. In your mind, where does Texas fit into the SEC picture?
Yeah, they're right up there in the top with South Carolina. Such a powerful team and program, and they're always there and right in your eyesight. I had the chance to play them in Bahamas a few Thanksgivings ago. They actually beat them in Bahamas. It was exciting, but they are a tough team. They always have bigs in the inside and guards that can score, similar to this South Carolina team in the SEC.
Quick trigger, Lombard for 3. That's cash. Destiny Lombard's having a good day for Purdue. She's got 15 points for the Boilermakers.
Destiny Lombard just keep doing what she's doing, getting inside. It's helping her game as well to feel this confidence.
Fulwiley snakes her way in and lays it up for 2 more. That's 14 points for number 12.
Unguardable.
There's no room to operate. Fulwiley on defense as well. 5 to shoot. Jones takes the extra pass, and that's disrupted by Edwards. Fulwiley, a watch list selection for the Naismith Women. Unbelievable. That's another foul. This will be on Lombard. And you just get this sense that if South Carolina is going to repeat, Mylasia Fulwiley is going to play a very key role in that kind of a run.
She's getting a standing ovation from the crowd right now for her performance in this game. She definitely will have to stick with that and her simplistically that she's played with in this game. She's been fancy at times, but she's also just taking it downhill, solid takes to the basket like Coach Staley wants.
These Gamecock fans have traveled very well. Leaves it up, got fouled on the way in. A lot of Iowa State and South Carolina fans here. Had a great game on Thanksgiving. The building was pretty full on the first day, and the culture that has been built around this program, a lot of passion in Columbia for South Carolina women's basketball. They are consistently one of the most well-attended. It's Ashley Watkins. That's one home for the first.
And such basketball fans as well, as we've learned throughout this tournament. We'll see a couple of them stick around, watch the other games, tuning in to teams that they're not going to play, tuning in to teams that they will play. But they all got a little scouting report for their team separately.
Have some extra scouts hanging around in Fort Myers. 8 minutes to go. Purdue with the basketball. South Carolina cruising away with what will likely be their second straight win. They're going to go 2-0 in Fort Myers. Miscommunication offensively. McCarthy from the elbow strokes it wide. Dump down on the post, out for Hall. She wiggles in underneath Watkins. Great team chemistry by South Carolina in the finish from Ashley Watkins.
A couple phenomenal passes by South Carolina. Just mid-air, Bree Hall finds a way to get that to Ashley Watkins.
Bree Hall collects the missed shot. Daniel, way too much room. A great move to the cup. Maddie McDaniel getting involved. She's got 10 points.
Didn't know which way she was going. Faked one way, went the other. The whole crowd was confused.
5 Gamecocks now in double digits. Lombard breaks free, floats it long. Fast in transition. Watkins to Edwards. Added on to the total, 87-36. Timeout on the floor. Gamecocks cruising away with it, 9 unanswered in the last 2 minutes. When it rains, it pours. All Gamecocks here at Fort Myers. Well, when you win the national title, you get to head to the nation's capital. That's what South Carolina did following their 2024 national title, visiting President Joe Biden and taking it all in and celebrating their 3rd national title, all under Dawn Staley as she continues to make history in women's basketball.
So impressive if you look at this list of coaches. Gino at UConn, Pat Summitt at Tennessee. I mean, these are some phenomenal coaches that she's up with 3 national titles, looking for another one this year.
Plenty of iconic names on that list. Dawn Staley very much amongst them. 6 Final Fours in the last 9 tournaments for this program. 16 SEC titles in their tenure. Dominant force in college basketball. And they've been dominant today, 87-36. Teetering on the brink of a 50-point lead over the Boilermakers. This one has gotten away in a hurry, and for South Carolina, this is only building that confidence at this point of the season, which is nothing but good for South Carolina. Six and a half in this game, Purdue with it. Collier loads up. And off one hop, South Carolina clears. Another 3 for Johnson. And she strums the strings. 90 points for the Gamecocks.
I told you, as soon as Tessa hits 1, she's hot for the rest of the game.
13 points for her, 3 for 6 from downtown. Nice pass to Collier, but the bobble can't finish. Lombard zigzagging out to Reynolds, straightaway 3. It's good.
Nice ball movement. Started with Ella Collier's drive, back cut to baseline. Creates, the defense gets off balance there, and then you can get that ball moving for easy shots. Just so tough against the South Carolina's ball pressure.
Brings that one loose and rolls off. Miriam Dowda for South Carolina is in the game.
Coach said Miriam is just so into the game when she's on the bench. Even though she doesn't play, she's always ready to go and make an impact. Been impressed with Miriam this year.
Lombard for 3. That's good as well. Purdue starting to connect from downtown.
Destiny Lombard, 15 points and then 18 with that 3. She's been looking good this year, and both these 2 games that we've covered for her this Thanksgiving tournament.
Oh, that's good. Bree Hall, another 3.
Bree Hall shooting it well.
South Carolina going a little deeper into their bench, and these are valuable minutes for a program very much focused on process. That's a steal from McDaniel. Up ahead, Hall wide open. She takes advantage. 95 points for the Gamecocks. Are creeping in on 100.
The skill, the finesse that's added to this game. Just so hard for Purdue to, first of all, handle the turnover and then have to see some crazy pass or finish on the other end.
28 fast break points for South Carolina, just 2 for Purdue. Lombard floats it home, spirals through.
A game like this for Purdue, they'll have a chance to look back at the film and maybe some mistakes that they made, but what's most important is they're going to grow this leadership and how to remember that when a team goes up by 20, 30 points, who's going to step up, who's going to bring this together mentally for Purdue.
Attack. Physical against McCarthy. They'll wave off the basket. That's an offensive foul. A very physical game. South Carolina in transition, getting it done. And up the floor, Bree Hall. 12 points for the Gamecocks. This is the action for the rest of the day in our quadruple header. Stick around, second game of the Island Division between 2 NCAA tournament teams in Middle Tennessee and Iowa State, the 15th team in the country. Davidson and Belmont in the third place game, and then Michigan and Virginia Tech for the championship. Rounds out the day. Don't go anywhere. There is plenty of fun basketball coming up here in Fort Myers. Purdue with it out of the timeout. 3:40 to go. South Carolina up in a big way. Tied for a season high. One more bucket gets them to a new season high and a chance to go into this 3-game stretch they got coming up feeling really good.
I just want to talk about some of their numbers. I mean, 60 points off the bench. It's so amazing for a team to go 5 in, 5 out, and have 60 points from your bench. It's incredible.
That's a 3 for Sophie Swanson. Purdue 7 for 12 from beyond the arc. There's one area they've looked, particularly in the second half, a lot better. It's been their perimeter shooting. The defense for South Carolina has been suffocating. 2-on-1, first doesn't go, second time's the charm. Down deep for an L-tap.
It's tough for Purdue when every pass is deflected. For some of these shooters, they've had the chance to get these open shots in the second half because more of the passes are on time, on target.
Quick little runner for Lombard. South Carolina closing in on 100. There it goes, and it rolls out. As Dowda leaves it short. Launched from deep, and that sprays loose. If South Carolina breaks 100. It'll be the first time they did it since December 6th in 2023 against Morgan State. Edwards rattles out. Just barely. They're stuck at a new season high, though, of 97.
She put her hands up like, how did that happen? All the way down and all the way out.
Space for Harper. She'll hand off for Lombard. Breaks free, and Lombard scoops it in.
Lombard just really showing her talent, showing her skills, what she can do on the offensive end.
Dumps it in. Tack. Bullying. Kicks it out. She got fouled before the pass. There's been a lot of scores today. We look at who has been leading the way for South Carolina. All kinds of Gamecocks getting to double digits.
So well-balanced scoring from the Gamecocks. I mentioned 60 points off the bench. Malaysia Fulwiley leads that with 14 points, and he's a crafty finisher.
Tack. Short distance shot doesn't land. Nearly got loose. Foul is called. That belongs to South Carolina. That quells the fast break. Ella Collier's foul. Beg your pardon. Sophie Swanson, team third, and her third as well. Dawn Staley's team up comfortably late. The only question is whether or not they'll crack triple digits. South Carolina will go 2-0 in Fort Myers. Head into a stretch of Duke, TCU, and South Florida. Feeling really good. Hall. Crisscrossing into the lane. Had it pried loose. It'll stay with the Gamecocks. This is what's on the horizon. They'll be at home on Thursday against Duke. And then another ranked matchup with TCU. South Florida has been very battle-tested. And then dates with Charleston Southern, Wofford, and then the Open Conference play on the new year with Missouri, January 2nd. Looking to extend that SEC win streak. The jumper is too strong from Edwards. Grabs her own missed shot. Heaves it up again. Doesn't land. Third time. Falls through. 99 points for the Gamecocks.
Joyce Edwards just trying to pad her stats a little bit. Adds 3 rebounds and 2 extra points.
Edwards fell down. Sophie Swanson with it. Jones floats it to the baseline. Puryear hoists. And that rolls out. Shot clock is off. South Carolina, a dominant one. A season high 99 points for the Gamecocks. And they cruise to a victory over Purdue to go 2-0 in Fort Myers.
Wonderful game for the Gamecocks, really coming together, showing their chemistry, what they can do on both ends. Impressive.
Dawn Staley's group gets the W in the Island Division. They roll past Iowa State and Purdue, and they will head into a primetime matchup with Duke, feeling very confident. So that'll do it for us in our first game. Reminder, stick around for the second game. It's going to be a good one here in the Island Division. Middle Tennessee and Iowa State. That's coming up in just a little bit here on the Women's Sports Network. Until then, our final score, South Carolina 99, Purdue 51. For our producer, Andrew Suarez, my partner, Chloe Murata, and our entire crew, I'm Brian Urquhart, saying so long from Fort Myers. All Gamecocks in this one, and they take it by double-digit margins over Purdue.